Hi guys, so today I'm just going to show you how to set up your IDE for an RSBot scripting project. So first of all, you need to download and install IntelliJ IDEA. So that's a IntelliJ IDE for Java. So first, and then once you've got that, you'll see it on the screen installed. All you need to do then is create a folder called RSBot where your project will be stored. As you can see, I've already created one and I've put RSBot in it. So now all we need to do is open IntelliJ. And then when the screen pops up, we're just going to click Create New Project, which should be on the right. So as you see here, Create New Project. And then select your SDK here. So you can use any JDK here. So you can use 1.8, 1.7 or 1.6. I recommend 1.8, but you can do whatever. So click Next again. And then here you just want to type in the path to your RSBot folder. Now mine is on my desktop and it's called RSBot, so that's all I have to type. So now we've got our project open. All we need to do now is click File, Project Structure, and then change our language level to 6, as that's the language level at which RSBot compiles the scripts. Click Apply. Go to Libraries, now add the RSBot library. So you see here we've already added the jar to our folder, so we can just click OK, and then OK again, and then click Apply, and then Modules. Now here we have to change this setting here to Use Module to compile output path. And then we just want to edit these so they only point to the out folder, and then just click Apply again. So now we've basically got our project set up. However, we do still need to tell it how to run our project. So you want to click this arrow at the top right, click Edit Configurations. So we're just going to add a new configuration for a jar application. And we're going to script for old school. So old school RuneScript will be the name of this. Now the path to jar, RSBot uses the genuine RuneScape launcher. And then attaches to it. So what we have to do is we have to go to our user folder where our jagex cache is stored, go into jagex cache, go into jagex launcher, and then go into bin. And you'll see here we have a file called jagexappletviewer.jar. So to make this easier, just copy this and paste it into here, and then you just want to add jagexappletviewer, if I can type, .jar. So in the VM options, so these we're basically going to tell it where to look for scripts, which game to load, and then we also need to tell it to attach RSBot. So first things first, we need to go djava search path. So this is the search path where it's going to look for the compiled scripts, and that's just going to be set to out. Next thing is which game to load. So dcom.jagex.config equals http where this is RuneScape free, www.runescape.com/l=n/jav-config.ws. However, we're scripting for old school today, so change www to old school. And then finally, you want to tell it to attach RSBot so we can actually do stuff in game. So -java agent. And then you just want to put 2 quotes here. Oh my god. 2 quotes here. And then just type the path to your RSBot file, which we put inside our RSBot folder. So mine was on my desktop, so it's going to be C users Chris desktop. Yep, desktop. RSBot 7042.jar, and then program argument, so we need to type here is RuneScape. And last thing we need to do is make sure that it runs with a 32-bit JRE and not a 64-bit. So you want to click this here, go into C, and then all 32-bit applications or libraries, whatever, are installed to x86. Program files x86. So you're going to go in here and go to Java. If you don't have a Java folder, just Google JRE8, download the Windows x86 version and install it, and then this folder will be created and you'll see this folder here. So we just want to select that and then click apply and OK. Now when we run this, so we just click the play button, we should see RSBot pop up. It'll take a second to load. So what we're expecting is Old School RuneScape to load, and we should also have like the file menu, the scripts menu, stuff like that. So yeah, so it's attached, if you can see here. So files, blah blah blah. Now we haven't yet written a script for it, but this is the base. You'll need this to carry on. So I hope this helps. Now we're going to go and actually write a very basic script. So keep watching for that. Okay, so we're just going to make our very basic first script. So you want to go add a new package, because every RuneScape script, RSBot script, needs to be inside a package. So we're just going to call this package scripts and click OK. Right click the package, new Java class, and we're going to call our class Hello World. So this is going to be the main class for our first script. So first thing we have to add is a script manifest. So we type @script, and we'll see this pops up. If we just double click that, it does it for us, and then we'll see a little error here. This means we need to import our script. Well, not our script, but we need to import script so it knows what the manifest is. And you can see we pressed Alt and Enter, and this is imported for us automatically. So our manifest needs a few things. So first it needs a name. So this is the script name. So Hello World is our script name. Second, it needs a description. The description's going to be how's it going? And then finally it needs some properties. So the first property it needs is an author. Author will be Chris. Second thing it needs is a topic ID. I'm not going to show you how to get the topic ID in this video, but for now you can just set this to 999, because why not? And then the final thing it needs is a description. No, not a description. It needs a client. So client equals 6 would be client equals RuneScape 3. Client equals 4 means client equals Old School RuneScape. So click OK. And then finally, what we need to do is extend Poland script, because we're going to make a Poland script. So Poland script. So we're just going to click this one. And we also have to actually add client context here. And you'll see we get quite a lot of options popping up. But if we read here, org.powerbot.script.rt4, that means the client context for Old School RuneScape. org.powerbot.script.rt6, that is the RuneScape 3. Obviously we want the Old School RuneScape one, so we're just going to double click that. And you'll see that we've still actually got errors. So why have we got errors when we've done this? It's because we haven't implemented the methods that Poland script has. So if we just go here and then click Alt and Enter, we'll get this nice little menu, and we can click Implement Methods and then click OK. So you see a poll method gets introduced, and this is just a constant loop. So that just runs over and over and over and over and over. But we can also override some other stuff, which is pretty useful. So type override so it knows that we're actually overriding the method. And then we can just type public void start. So when the script starts, this method is called, and we can override that and do what we want. So what we're going to do is also override public void stop, which obviously is when the script is stopped. So just for the demonstration purposes, system.out.println started, system.out.println stopped, and then here system.out.println running. So you want to save that, and then if you click run now, that script will not appear. What you have to do is you have to right click and then go compile module RSBot. So this is actually compiling your scripts, and you'll see an out folder appear. Now if you remember back to when we did our run configuration, you'll see at the very start the Java search path equals out. This is saying look for scripts in the out folder, and of course there's our out folder. So we know something is actually in there now, so this should work. So we're going to click run, and then it'll pop up. Now what this script should do is when we start it, it should just print into this little box here, started, and when we stop it, it should print stopped. While it's running, and I'll show you this now. So if we run this script, you see here it pops up, L means it's a local script, so we click play, and then we see it started. However, it's not, why is it not running? It's not running because we're not logged into the game. So I'm just going to log in really quick. So I've logged in now, and you can see here that it's just spamming running over and over and over and over. And then if we stop, we can see it's printed stopped, and it stopped spamming. So this is our very first script. So if you didn't guess already, what the poll does is it's just basically a constant loop, which is why I type constant loop here, just to give you an idea. Okay, so we're going to write our first goblin killer script. I've changed the name to goblin killer, and I've changed the description to kills goblins, but I've left the class name the same. But if you really wanted to, you could right click the class, refactor, and rename. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get the IDs for the goblins. So if we go in game, go to the goblin area and click view NPCs, we can see all their IDs above their head. So 3034, 3033, 3029, 3031. So what we're going to do is store them. So we're going to go final static int goblin IDs equals, and then this. And what this is saying is these are never going to change, and they're integers, and this says it's an array, so it's more than one integer. And then this is how you initialize the integer array. So 3029, 3030, 3031, 3032, 3033, 3034, 3035. Now they are all the goblin IDs. If you walked around here, you would actually see all those IDs above the goblin heads. So what we also want to do though is we want our food. So view items. So 315 is our shrimp ID. So final static int food ID equals 315. Now you'll see here food is only one ID, therefore we don't have these and we don't have these because there's only one and it's not an array. So the next thing we want to do is we want to make a method that we're going to call when we want to heal, because in a combat script you need to heal at some point. So let's make that method first. So public void heal, very simple, just going to call it heal, and you'll see we don't have override because this is our method, it doesn't exist, we're just going to make it ourselves. So what we want to do next is simply we want to get a pointer to one of these items in our inventories. Now to do that we would first have to just declare an item. So you can see when we type item, we haven't actually imported it yet. So when we type item, we are given some options. We do want this top one because it says RT4. So item food to eat equals, and then how would we get that? So let's look at the documentation. So RSBot docs, RT4 script, and then inventory. Now if we look, basically what we're trying to do is get a pointer to one of these items using its ID. So if we look here, we can see none of those methods actually help us with the getting one with the ID. However, it does inherit these methods here, and you can see ID, ID, ID. So we can just use ctx.inventory.id food ID and then .poll. Now what poll does is it basically says basically when you do this, it says CTX inventory get food ID, get food with this ID. Sorry. So that'll give you all these. So you'll have like 28 or 24 results, and then what poll does is it says give me the top result. There is also one called peek, which says let me look at the top result. So it doesn't actually take it, but poll actually takes it. So you've got the food to eat, but now if you actually did that, it would work one time. However, you actually need to put .select here, because if you, so basically what select does is it says clear the previous result and basically start fresh. So every time we run this now, it's going to say forget everything you've already got, do another search. So it won't give us old results anymore. So what we can do now is food to eat. So we've got the food to eat. So what we want to do is if we look at the documentation again and we go to item, we can look and there's actually nothing here that helps us click it or interact with it. If we look on the inherited methods, we can see there is click. So they would work. We could do food to eat dot click. That would work. However, if we keep looking in the documentation, we will see some interact methods. Now these are basically clever versions of the click. So food to eat dot interact, we have interact boolean filter, interact string, interact boolean string, boolean string string. So interact string. Let's do that. So if we do that, then that will work. If we did boolean eat shrimps, that would also work, and that just validates that it's actually the shrimp. If we did a boolean here, that would say force left click and then eat. But we don't care about that. We just want to eat. So we can just use that. Now the problem with this is this method here, where we're going to be calling heal from, it runs so fast that we would most likely eat about 4 shrimps. So what we need to do is we need a way to only eat when we've already finished eating our previous one. So we need to sort of sleep and say, right, let's eat this, and then let's just wait a couple of seconds and see if we still need to eat in a second. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the player's health. So if you go into the documentation yet again, if you go into the combat class, you'll see we can actually get the health from here. So health, health percent, max health. So we can go final int starting health equals ctx.combat.health. And then what we need to do is we need to compare it against the health after we've finished eating. So we need to sort of sleep until we finished eating. So to do this, we need to use the condition.wait. Condition.wait. You will have to import that. So condition.wait. We're just going to pass it in. Oh, there you go. There's the import. So powerbot.script.condition, alt and enter, import that automatically. New callable boolean. So then you'll end up with this, and we still need to import this one. So we need to import callable. So it's just alt and enter that, and we still got an error because we haven't overridden the call method. So what we need to do is, if we just click on that and press alt and enter, we can click just implement methods call, and it does it for us. So this says this is basically going to wait until this is true, and until that's true, this is never going to return back to it. So we need to get a health again, so let's copy this. So we can do final int current health, return current health, doesn't equal the starting health. So this on its own is fine. However, say we want to check, we can also add some parameters here. So let's say we want to check every 150 milliseconds, and we want to wait a maximum of 3 seconds. So 150 times 20 is therefore 3000, and that means wait 3000 seconds maximum before just returning anyway. So what this is going to do is it'll now sleep until your health has gone up before it returns. So that's our heal method, that's all we need. We also need an attack method. So public void attack. Just don't want to get logged out. So our attack method is going to say, see, I don't actually know these methods, I'm just typing stuff in, seeing what comes up. And you can do the same as long as you've imported NPCs. So what you can do is final npc org.powerbot.script.rt4 goblin to kill, actually goblin to attack, equals ctx.npcs dot select, don't forget to select, dot id goblin IDs dot nearest dot poll. So what this is saying is you want to query the NPCs on a new query cache, and then you only want the NPCs with this ID. You want to sort them from nearest to furthest, and then you want to select the top one, which is going to be the nearest. So then what you want to do is you want to say goblin to attack dot, and then we can just use what I've already learned, so interact, and then you want to do that. So you can see attack, so attack, and then we can just copy this again. What did I just do? Sorry, pasted instead of copied. But instead of this, you want to return ctx.players.local. So that's our local player. And then let's have a look what methods we've got. So interact, nope. Animation, nope. Combat, nope. No, sorry. Center point, nope. Max health, no. In combat. So if we're in combat, then you return. So we click this, and let's wait a little more than 3 seconds. So 4 seconds. We're going to try 20 times every 200 milliseconds to see if this is true. And then when it's true, we're going to return back, and that'll stop us spamming attack. And that's basically fine. So what this would work, however, what happens if that goblin is in combat? So we could say if goblin to attack dot in combat, then we could just return and say don't touch that, but that would probably get stuck in a loop until that goblin's gone, and it would be very ineffective. So what we could do is select the goblins by ID, and then before we filter them to nearest, we can do another select, but instead this time we're going to use filter. So we're going to filter new filter NPC like this. This means we're filtering the NPCs. It's similar to what we did down here with the sleep. New filter NPC, that's a method, and then we do that. We still need to import that, so let's import that and make sure you import the powerbot one like that. And there's some errors again because we need to implement the method. So just click on it, Alt and Enter as usual, and then implement, and we can see accept. Now what this accept one does is it says only accept the NPC if this is true. So we can do NPC, in fact, yeah, so it gives you the NPC by its handle NPC. So NPC.inCombat. But we don't want that. We want if it's not in combat. This means it's not. So not NPC in combat. And then it adds it to the list. So now we're only attacking goblins which aren't already in combat. And we can also do... Wait, I put that in the wrong method. That shouldn't have been in poll. It should have been in attack. I apologize. Poll should still be empty. So, and finally, let's just have a boolean. Public boolean has food. Actually, no. Yeah, it has food. So return. All we're going to do here is return ctx.inventory. Again, I don't know these methods. I'm just sort of guessing. I haven't used these in a long time. Select, and then we just type it in. We want to select our food, so food ID, and then the first option is count, which is actually the one we want. So count is greater than 0. So that means we've got food. And then we're also going to make a public boolean should attack. And should attack is going to return whether we're ready to attack. So return ctx.players.local, so that's our player, .in combat. So return we're not in combat. Now we could just type that out every time, or one time, but this allows us to expand on it should we need to. So now we can just use all our methods and hopefully create a pretty cool first script. So if has food, because we don't want to attack if we don't have food, if has food, then if we have food, it's gonna run everything inside these two brackets, of course. So if we have food, then if should attack. So if we have food and we should attack, then we're just going to call attack. Else, if we shouldn't attack, then we don't actually need to do anything. So let's ignore that. We also actually need a way to find out if we need to heal. So I'm going to add a boolean for that as well. So public boolean needs heal. Return ctx.players. Actually, it's not ctx.players, is it? We know that already. It's ctx.combat.health is greater than... Actually, it's less than 6. This is going to return true if we have less than 6 health. So if needs heal, then we're going to call our heal method, and then we're going to do else. Else, if should attack, then attack. Has food, attack, should attack, heal, and I believe that actually uses all of our methods. So we actually logged that already, but you don't actually have to restart RSBot every time. If you just right click here and click rebuild, or compile, sorry, and then log back into the game while it's compiling, because why not? What you might want to do is click view mouse and view mouse trails, just so you can see what the script is doing. So we're going to play our script, goblin killer. And we see it's attacking a goblin, it's waiting 4 seconds, and now it's in combat, so it's not going to do anything. And it's just attacking nicely. I thought the goblins were actually more aggressive than this. I thought, there you go, they've done some damage. I want to kind of show you it healing, so I'm going to see if I can take a bit more damage. 8, 7, 7. God, it's taking a while, eh? 7. Oh my god. As you can see though, it's not spamming over goblin, it's not doing anything stupid. And now we're not in combat, so now it's attacking the next goblin. This goblin hopefully is a bit more strong so that we can heal. Because we're regenerating health faster than the goblins hurting us. 7. So I need to get 2 more hits. Come on. 6. So remember we said if less than 6 we need to heal. 6. There you go, so it's healed. Now the only issue is when you heal you are actually not in combat. So for that split second you might actually attack another goblin, but most likely not. So yeah, this seems to be working fine. So that's your very first script. I hope that helped. Hopefully we will expand on this in a future video. Depends on the feedback to this video. I'm not sure if anyone actually find this useful. Hopefully someone did though.